Okay, I just finished the freeze dryer, 34 hours to freeze dry milk. This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourt's homestead. Let's get it up close. This is milk, and it is dry. So this is actually the milk that I got at the grocery store last week when it was on sale. And I just freeze dried it because we're not going to drink 4 gallons of milk, right? People probably thought we were crazy buying 4 gallons of milk. So I'm going to be working on using it in the upcoming weeks, but I use dry powdered milk all the time, like all the time. So this is going to be perfect for me because wow, what a savings. Because if you check to see how much freeze-dried milk or how much dried milk is recently, it's quite expensive. But hold on, because I've got one more batch that I'm gonna prep and you're gonna get to see that. So I'm gonna package this up in bags and I'll show you just briefly how to do that. So I use a little food processor my immersion blender came with. I fill it up with the flakes and then I turn it into powders and then I put it in Mylar bags and then I seal it with a 300cc oxygen absorber. Now, let me get that done and I'll be right back with you. This is actually what it looks like when you're all done. We're going to be using this in a couple days. Some of you asked me what the fan was. I don't spend the electricity to have it defrost the machine. I put a fan here like so many other people do, and I put air inside here and it melts the ice that's in there. And the ice goes down into the bucket. It's actually a watering can and it's perfect. I hear you on this comment, carnation dried milk. I hear you on the comment. I grew up in the 70s, and what you guys need to know is in the 70s with the oil crisis that went on, we literally did not know where our next meal was coming from. I mean, we literally didn't know where our next meal was coming from. And there were times that my mom would take the milk as it was down to like this, and there was no more money for milk, and she would add the dried carnation milk powder in the container and add the water and shake it up, and that's what we would eat. That's what we would drink for milk. I hated milk, like with a passion. So let's get my dried milk that I use, which is not carnation, which is a dried milk, and let's get the freeze-dried milk and real milk, and let's see how they smell. Okay, we have all 3 of them in the order of which we are going to do the sniff test. Crack that puppy open. It smells like milk, It's whole milk. I only use whole milk now. Whole milk. Keep that smell in my nose. Smells very much similar to this milk, which is why I use this. I don't even know what brand it is, to be honest with you. It's, I just buy it in bulk. Oh, and that smells exactly like this. I'm actually going to be cooking with this. I might do it today if I have time, but we're going to be making candy. That's what I use with dry milk, is I make my candy and I reconstitute it when I have a recipe. So the other day I needed to make frosting, and I don't really keep milk on hand because we don't drink milk a lot, and I keep it frozen, but because you can freeze it. You just pop the top, pour a little tiny bit out of the container, and then loosely put the top back on and put it in your freezer. It freezes well, freezes great. And then you can make yogurt and stuff with it. But I usually use the majority of my dry milk for making candies, like fudge-like type brownie candy things. So we'll do that shortly. It doesn't smell anything like carnation, I'm gonna tell you that. And when I mixed it up, it took a while. Warm water, mix it, let it sit there to rehydrate, and then I took a little whisk to it and whisked it up. But yeah, so it did take some time. It's not instant milk. I'm actually preparing to freeze dry some milk. So I freeze it first, that's why I have my gloves on. And I'm gonna show you my setup, right? So you can see this crazy brain of mine. First thing I do is I put my pitcher up here and I put my milk down here. I have a large, so I have 5 trays to fill, and each tray I put 4 cups of milk in, and that's my quart container. Then I put my trays and my lids on the next ladder rung. Let's see if we can keep you up there. I take one tray and stick it in here. Then I pour my milk in the container, and I'll show you how I fill it. Now you have to go very slowly when you hit the tray, because if you hit the tray too fast, then you get splatter everywhere. Let's see if I can go this way so you can hopefully see it. And you just gently pour. Now, it's the last shelf that I'm going to show you. And then I put the lid on. After the lid, very gently, and repeat. It's like building a sandwich. This delicate balancing act is very important to make sure your freezer is level before you start this. Because if your freezer is not level, your milk is not going to go in level. Okay, we're on the last one. And it will fit, but the cover will not fit on it. And how would I even pour it? Let me show you. Okay. I'm just going right through the grate. I hope you can see it. And yes, I have washed the shelf and wipe up anything that I spilled, because I do spill. This is how I do all of my liquids. All of my liquids. Right in the freezer, right in the trays. And make sure they're totally frozen before you put them in the freeze dryer. That is an excellent question, and here is why I do it. I have two sets of trays. I have one set that's in the freeze dryer, and then I have another set that I am loading when I have the available time and putting it in the freezer to freeze. I keep them in the freezer for about 24 hours so that they're all fully frozen, and then I'm putting them in the freeze dryer. I put everything in the freeze dryer in the state of frozen from my freezer because it shortens my time by 2 to 5 hours. Now, I have my freezer running anyways, might as well put stuff in there to freeze it. And then when I turn the freeze dryer on, if I'm using 2 to 5 hours less of power in that freeze dryer, benefit for me because it's a saving of money for me. There are some people that have put like eggs or ice cream not in the frozen state without pre-freezing, and they haven't really turned out very well. So for me, I would rather know that it is frozen and it goes in frozen and it doesn't defrost at all than having it go in not pre-frozen. It kind of helps me with my quality control. Having it going in frozen gives me the control of the quality that's going to be coming out during the process. I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. Great question, though.